Hi everyone, today we are going to discuss this particular question here. This is an opinion question. The question asks you whether imposing curfews on teenagers to prevent them going out at night is advisable, that policy is needed or not. That is the topic here. So the question says like that. Some countries are considering imposing curfews in which teenagers will not be allowed outdoors at night unless they are accompanied by an adult. So by an adult, if you accompany, if the teenagers are accompanied by an adult, only then they are allowed at the streets at night, or else they won't be allowed. The restrictions will be there. This is the plan. This is the legislation plan of some countries. This is to bring down the crime rate among the teenagers, because there is always an increase in the crime rate among the teenagers. You can see the crime rate is seen in the early ages more now compared to the past. It is because of the changing lifestyle of the people. In the past, teenagers were not hanging out at night. These many teenagers. Now, with the advanced technology, modernization, we have pubs, we have entertainment areas like movies at night, operas at night. We have music concerts at night, DJ party at night. Nightlife is very colorful these days compared to the past, in cities especially, and most of the people who are enjoying the nightlife, they are teenagers. And when they are engaging in this parties or night outs, they may be involved in some sorts of crimes, or they may be naturally, accidentally, or knowingly or unknowingly it happens, because that is the age there. They are very curious, they are very enthusiastic, they are very agile, they are very aggressive. So many people, they exploit the teenagers, they exploit the adolescents very badly. Even if in case of boys or girls, exploitation of adolescents is very common. So they will be sometimes forced to be a part of the crime. So at night, this is very much possible for the perpetrators of the crime, for the antisocial elements. So in such cases, we need to restrict them. If they are not there at night, without supervision, the problems can be reduced. We do have a better option like that. So this is a good idea from the part of some countries. They are planning to do that thing, because they're very potential to these types of criminal activities. Right now, the question is asked to you whether you agree or disagree to this policy. So if such a policy is been implemented, do you agree? So is this policy good? The primary reason, so I just need an introduction here. Let's go with the introduction here. It is seen that, so I need to see that this is generalization. It is seen that. So this is not my opinion. This is a general opinion. It is seen that it's very common that the crime rate among adolescents is on the hike. And to address this, some governments have been considering framing specific legislation. Okay, so in order to curb the increasing crime rate among the adolescents, many governments, not many governments, some governments have been considering framing specific legislations. This is the topic. And one such initiative, so many plans are there. One particular plan is to impose curfews, prohibiting their presence. Whose presence? The adolescents' presence in the public places without the companionship of any adult. So accompanied by an adult. So it is there is some rephrasing things here. Okay. Okay, now we have got two sentences here, somewhat different from this presentation, but the matter is almost the same. So we have not changed the essence of the question, but the presentation is different. The topic is well addressed. All the parts of the question is addressed. Now the question, to what extent do you agree or disagree with this policy? I tend not to agree to this policy. Very clear, very precise and very open answer. I tend not to agree to this policy. So I tend not to agree. It means I am not telling that I completely disagree to the policy. So I say that my most, I just want to say the probability is higher. I am not telling that I completely disagree, but I tend to disagree. That's it. So it's a sort of, it's not a strong opinion, but I don't feel that. I don't feel that I should agree to this policy. Now, we have completed the first particular paragraph, that first particular thing, that is the introduction. We have addressed what exactly the topic is and what exactly your opinion is. Both these things are there in the introduction. Now, let's start the first particular paragraph. The primary reason. So this is the thing, the primary reason. The primary reason behind my viewpoint. So we have connected this thing to the last sentence of the introduction, the thesis statement. The primary reason why my viewpoint is because it hinders the fundamental freedom of the individual. So this is the point. So this is the point. This is the core of the paragraph, the central attraction of this paragraph. So what they are telling is that it hinders the fundamental freedom of an individual. So explaining, to be clearer, once a person crosses his childhood stage, he or she should be recognized as an individual and they should enjoy almost all the rights an adult an adult enjoy. So that is the age when a child crosses his childhood stage. He naturally should be recognized as an adult, recognized as an individual. So individual freedom, individual rights, it should not be questioned there. It is their right to have this sorts of freedom there, this sorts of rights there. When such rights are limited by any means, such rights, this right. So the connection is clear. What kind of rights? They should be recognized as an individual. They should enjoy almost all the rights. Such rights are limited by any means. The results are undesirable. It's not positive. To explain it further, you need further explanation because what type of consequences? So to explain it further, adolescents are agile, aggressive, and often rebellious, the characteristics of teenagers. And any restrictions such as night curfews are least likely to be tolerated by them. So these things are not going to be tolerated by them. The adolescents are not going to tolerate these things. Now we have framed the first particular paragraph, and when we are going to the second particular paragraph, the second reason. The second reason behind my viewpoint is the practicability of the legislation. We can see that. Another reason. So you are objecting, you are disagreeing, not agreeing. So why you are objecting is the practicability. So it is not practical, to be precise, to be clearer. It's not always possible to maintain the correct ratio of adults and teenagers on the streets at night. It's not possible to maintain the correct proportion. One adult, 2 or 3 teenagers, one adult or 50 teenagers, it's misproportion there. So you have to have a correct proportion of adults and teenagers. So that's why the meaning of supervision there, accompanying there. So actually, it's not possible to maintain the correct ratio. It's a fact that most teenagers prefer to enjoy the nightlife it's fact that when most teenagers prefer to enjoy the nightlife, it's not the case among the adult population, as they have many other commitments. So adult population, they have many other commitments, and they don't like to spend that much time with teenagers on the streets at night. They have other commitments. The presence of adults, especially from their own family, puts greater limitations on adolescents. Another thing. So we have said. So it's not a better presentation, so I need to go ahead. In addition, the presence of adults, especially from their family, puts a greater limitations on adolescents who want to enjoy the nightlife to the fullest. So this is the thing here. So if they want to enjoy their nightlife to the fullest in the presence of adults, especially from their own family, from their parents or brothers or uncles or aunts, it's not possible. They cannot enjoy it to the fullest, the nightlife. Now, this is addressing the opposite view. Slight address is there. Admit the idea as an innovative one. I admit the idea as an innovative one when it comes to bringing down the crime rate, as a sizable proportion of teenagers who are hanging out at night are involved in some types of crime. Now that many of the people, teenagers who are in the streets, they are a part of crimes. A lot of people, but not all, a lot of people. However, when better options of law enforcement are there, such as effective night patrols and surveillance cameras on high-risk areas of crime, I feel this policy is not recommended at present. At present, this is not recommended. We have options like effective night patrols, surveillance cameras on the high-risk areas. I feel this policy is not recommended. So they have to enjoy the freedom. At the same time, we have to restrict them from doing some illegal activities. So it's effective when effective night patrols are there, effective supervision by surveillance camera on high-risk areas. That's enough. We don't need to restrict them. So it is because it has. When teenagers are there on the streets, we have a lot of business. A lot of people are there on the streets at night. It is good for the entertainment industry, the food industry, the commercial industries, other than shopping or something like that. So we have a lot of benefits when the teenagers are out. A lot of activities are there, financial activities. It gets you get some revenue. Some local businesses, some multinational companies, entertainment areas, everywhere we have some positive things when they are out. at night. See, for example, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 1 a.m. Businesses will run. To conclude, though restrictions on teenagers by imposing night curfews would bring about some positive outcomes, yes, it may bring about some positive outcomes. I feel in the current situation, it is unwise to implement it as we have better alternatives. We have better alternatives at present. And at this stage, it is unwise to carry out this, to implement this particular restrictions on teenagers. So we have come to the conclusion of this particular essay. I remind this essay was asked on September the 4th of 2021 in the real Ielts examination. Okay, so that's it.